Let's give a round of applause to Fresh Diary. You know, I usually tell you that, please, if you want to live a life of significance, marry well, eh? Yeah, be very careful with your choice of a partner because they can make you or bring you. But even when it comes to partnering with people and corporations, please choose well. Fresh Diary has been that partner for us. It has been that partner that has walked the journey with us. It has held our hands. It has fed us, okay? It has brought fun. How many of you could have seen these ladies dance here? Those ladies, their husbands don't even know that those ladies know how to dance. Did you see dances here? Some people were doing simanyi what? Simanyi. And I kept looking at the legs and I'm like, my friend, what is this? Milk. Okay? So we really appreciate Fresh Diary for holding our hands and being with us. And this journey is still going and going and going, and we're going to grow bigger and bigger. And I want us to look back on this journey and say, we are the pioneers of Hold My Hand. How many of us love that moment? 2 years from now, not 2 years from now, I wanted to say 2 years from now we will look back, but next year, Hold My Hand is moving cities in Kampala, and then we are moving outside of Kampala. In November, someone is preparing Hold My Hand in Liberia. Yeah. They saw it online, and they say they are going to do everything it takes to make sure that the ladies in Nigeria have a taste of Hold My Hand. And I was like, do your thing. Good enough. I was going to Liberia. It's easier because I had a UK trip. So I was like, okay, after my UK trip, I'm just going to cross because Liberia is very close. It's actually closer. You can just, you know, cross. So I was like, you know what? From UK, I'll come through Liberia, and then before I can come back. And I'm like, Hold My Hand is going global. So if you are growing, just know that your platform of influence is going to grow bigger. You're not just going to influence people in your village or in Uganda. You're going to influence on a global platform. So let us continue growing together. And today, actually, what I wanted us to talk about, I based on her to research. I did that research for the past 2 weeks. You know how we set our targets? How many of us set targets? We have goals that we set. Did we write them down? How many of us are saying that I have moved and I am not where I was when we began this journey? Wow. Put your hand up straight. I want to see that. Look at that. Look around the room. Look around the room. People are saying, I have moved. How many of two of us that are willing to share that this is how far I have moved? Two of us. Please come. Please come.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I hope you are as well. I'm Sheila Acheng. And a friend of mine, Sheila Belinda, she's actually my best friend, she encouraged me to come here. That was a couple of weeks back. I'm a student, BCom finalist at MOBS. So, thank you. So that week, I was actually contemplating on whether to moderate. We had like this dinner, the annual SAMU dinner, and I'm the speaker, but then I was like, they're going to be very big people there, and I'm scared to like stand in front of them and then, you know, moderate. There's like CFO, NSSF, Dr. Henry Mevasa, like these really huge people are going to be there. So I was afraid of like moderating, so I thought about looking for someone else. But then I'd come early and I'd listen to her public speaking classes. And then I started making notes about how I'm going to do it. I decided that day that I'm going to do it, that I'm going to moderate. And so I'd make notes and basing on what she'd say, and then go do research and build my confidence. And so I did it, and I did. And I'm so thankful to you, Bahati, for that.
Do you see that? You see that? Confidence. it's built. It's not the absence of fear. It's the courage to go, even when you still have the fear inside of you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so wonderful. Now, that's going to move you closer and way ahead of your classmates. Way ahead of your classmates.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mutoni Claudine, and I'm a mental health advocate. So the first time I was here, they mentioned people who have businesses and they would like to be on Spirit TV. I did not register because mine is not a business. I don't have a place. So as I was moving out, I talked to Masanyo. He was like, but you can have somewhere where you can say your thing. So fortunately, I was hosted at Spirit TV. It was my first time on TV.
Living it up?
Yes,
wow.
Living it up. Though I had done radio several times. So when I was sharing on my status and social media platforms, there are people I had requested to do a few things with, but they were like, oh,
they were not so sure.
Yeah, tossing me around. So when they saw the video, one of them was like,
that you're becoming a celeb.
So one of them was like, hey, Kumbe, you are serious. I'm like, but I've always been serious. So they are like, you know what? I think let's resume, reschedule the meeting. You can come and we see how we do all these things. So
wow,
it has been really a blessing to be here, not only for the TV, but the improvement I'm making in my life.
Wow.
It has really been a blessing.
Wow, isn't that beautiful? Oh, so beautiful. Yes, Judith. The beautiful Judith.
Oh. Good evening, everyone. Like she mentioned, Judith Travel is my name. I've always struggled with confidence, self-esteem. I remember the first time I came here, I sat in that corner.
You nearly got lost in the corner. You wanted the corner to swallow you.
She came and pulled me out. I actually sat somewhere there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's one thing. My confidence is, I'm not yet there, but I'll get there.
Wow.
And the other thing, I've always struggled with interviews. You know, this job world, you search here, you search there. I look at an advert, and I know I can do it. Like, it is me they want. But for some reason, I shy away. I don't apply. So I talked to my accountability partner, Coach Majo, and she pushed me to, she actually encouraged me, just apply. If there is an opportunity to volunteer, push in your papers. You never know. And so far, within these months, I've done 4 interviews. I just had one today. And though I haven't gotten feedback, but there's something that has added on me.
Wow.
Yes, I've worked in those offices.
Yeah.
I've faced the panels. Yeah. I've done the interviews. And believe you me,
you felt good about yourself.
Yes. I am getting there. And the other thing, my family is one that is a little distant. I am an only girl amongst 4 boys. So that relationship is really, there. But since I joined this program, I've been able to at least get closer to my brothers. And actually, I found out one of my brothers has a child that we didn't know about, and we are yet to visit. Yes, I'm a singer. So we are yet to visit the child where he is. And trust me, people, this is the place for you.
Wow.
First timers, this is the place
they
for you.
They should come here.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Judith. Thank you so much. Now, I know that if I took...
Another thing I wanted to share. I had even forgotten.
It's okay. For a person who wanted to be swallowed by the corner, they can speak the whole evening.
It's about... there's a time she talked about exercise, stabilizing your hormones. I'm one of those people who have always struggled with period issues up and down. You
Yeah.
never know when it's coming. Like you're just there. So the past 2 months, well, maybe the impact of the exercise may not be physically there
Which
yet.
is okay.
But the inner me feels different.
Is transformed.
You cannot imagine. I won't mention it, but I think the ladies understand.
Yeah. It feels nice. Aw. Now, I know that if I took this microphone around the room, each one of us will have something to say, right? We'll have something to say. For as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're actually making progress and you're successful. Success is not a place where you just reach. It's not a destination. Success is a journey. Success is continuous movement, okay? For as long as you can do that, then you're growing. These are beautiful, beautiful testimonies, and I know that each one of us. And by the end of this year, I want you to look back and be proud of yourself, okay? That what you set out to do, you did. Okay? Let the world fail you. Let the systems fail you. Let the economy fail you, but do not fail yourself. Let your husband fail you or let your wife fail you, but do not fail yourself. Do not stand in your own way. Let me tell you, it is the saddest moment when you can look at everyone else and you only have to take responsibility for your failure. Why? Because you promised to save and you did not save. Because you promised to invest and you did not invest. Because you promised to fast and you did not fast. You promised to pray and you did not pray. You promised okusala ko kumere and you didn't. I know. I know. When you promise yourself that, you know what, I am going to put my act together and dress like a lady. Wanji? How many of you wake up and that day you feel like being Sambala Sambala? Wanji, hands up. Sambala Sambala. Kwara kwara. Anyhow. Atona avyono. Mbukala kukala. You get it? But you're like, you know what? My head, get this straight. We move out of this house looking like a lady. With lipstick on tugenda kufana na bizibu bya fe. Wanji? We are going to look like where we are going. And then every day we are going to push ourselves there. And before you know it, you are closer than you have ever been. But for us who set out to receive or to get to certain targets, okay? I want us to understand this. And I want us to get this difference. You know, these days I'm becoming scientific, eh? Like that scientific research about hormones. It worked for me. It worked for me. And I know that if you really try it out, exercise, you don't have to go to treadmills and what. No, at home, just move your leg like that. Yeah? Yes. You know, some of us think that we must somersault in order to feel like we are doing something. No, you're not supposed to kick the walls. You're not supposed to lift heavy things. Do something that makes you sweat, that gives, that lifts your heart rate. That is enough. Some of you say, I have the back, you've gone to doctors, but you cannot squat, you cannot even sit on the floor, you cannot, mama obutebe bwajja, wanji? Nemotoka zajja. Ova kubuliri, ngogenda kukatebe. Nova kukatebe, nogenda mumotoka. You know those things of squatting and standing up? They're the ones that make us actually fit, even to older age. Because that is exercise in itself. Kanneme kulwayeyo. Let's go to science. Just one thing. I told you I made a research, and that research was actually based on Coach Marjorie. I was asking myself, because I'm responsible for so many people and their journeys. And so I was like, okay, we started the journey and set the goals. There are people that are closer to their goals, and believe me, there is 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 that are nowhere closer to their goals. And so I was trying to look at these two people. What is the difference? Where do we drop the ball? Between the people that draw closer to their goals or are able to materialize and touch or manifest their goals, and people who never materialize or touch their goals. And then I discovered that this is something that happens when you set out to say, you know, let me give an example of exercising. When you set out to exercise, you realize day number 1 will be very successful. You will buy those nice clothes, and then you will buy a nice nanny for water, and then you will be like you've gone for showbiz in the gym. How many of you have done that? Now, you appear in the gym the first day and you're like, you know, I'm just going to kill it the whole month. You even pay for membership. Like you have warmed up. Then you come the second day. The second day is still good. The third day you grudgingly come. Like, like you start getting a reason out of nowhere. Okay? Now, this is the trick. The moment you're able to tell your mind that, you know what, let's tarry or let's stay on this course a little longer. Let me not disappoint myself. Okay? The other person, on the other hand, will get the excuses. And let me tell you, you can even drive. I have ever driven to the gym and I stayed in the parking. Yeah. I stayed in the parking and I stayed on WhatsApp. And then I was like, you know what, Katila Jamalawika demo, and I drove home. I did. Like, seriously. And then I was like, I'm going to start this again. And then I will start it again. And then I'll start it again. So if I talk about failure firsthand, I know that I have backed out of my own plans. And I have disappointed myself. And I felt so terrible for it. Okay? But now, the other person that says that I will stay on, do you know what the difference is? We are used to certain hormones, like stressful hormones, okay? You're like, I will go to the gym, I will go, you multitask, things don't work, things are not shifting, you're doing all these things. Like there's, the cortisol that is coming into your bloodline is a lot, okay? The stress hormone is a lot. So when you decide to finally exercise or do something or change your schedule and do something different that you've not been doing, guess what? Different hormones start bombarding your body. So when those different hormones, and I read it from a doctor, because this was a high-performance coach, and he has done this research for years with high performers. I was like, now, when you do it, this is what happens. The different hormones that come into your body, the feel-good kind of hormones that come to your body, you remember you're not used to them. You're used to the bad hormones of stress all the time, but now you're getting the good hormones and your body goes in shock, and so it starts to vibrate. So you start grudgingly waking up or going to do whatever you needed to do. But this is the difference, and this is what really hit me, and where Coach Marjorie comes in. The people that materialize their gifts or their achievements, they have a wow brain. And if you're writing, I want you to write it. They have a wow kind of brain. I called it a wow brain, okay? And then the people that don't achieve their dreams, they have the ow. Exactly. The reason I actually called it ow is because my son, whenever his heart or hits himself, says, ow, ow, ow. So they have that ow kind of brain, okay? Now, the wow kind of brain is actually characterized by the internal dialogue that says, I will get it. I will go for it. It's possible if other people have done it. Do you see that positivity? The optimism that they have inside of them, it's built inside of them. And they are characterized by confidence. They're saying that, you know, if they could do it, I can do it. Okay? And they are characterized by wanting to learn, adventurous. You know, kanchikole, oba chigana chigane. Let me venture, let me go to this office, let me knock the door, let me talk to this girl and see. If she refuses, she refuses. I will go on nenkwano mulala because banji. Hey, nabagamba wano. One time, I had a boss who told me that men are like bodas. When one goes, another one comes. And the same thing applies to even men, right? So these people are quite adventurous. They're like, you know what, if it fails one way, it will work another way. Those people, have you ever dealt with people who are like that? For them, they don't see failure. Eh? They always see a way through. And those people are so nice to actually work with, okay? So they're adventurous and then they love growth. They are growth-minded. Like they are. So these things that I'm explaining are things, because remember I told you, it's after I looked at Majo's life and I was like, now I want to know the difference between people that hit their goals and those that don't hit their goals. She's adventurous, she loves growth, she's confident, and she's optimistic. Oba chijakole oba techikole, ojamusanga nga ina smile. Ojamusanga yetadde mu ddene. Omugambe tugenda wano nze nzuno. Tugenda wano. You get it? Even in places where you don't expect her to actually show up. Okay? Now let's go to the other side. The owl brain has the internal dialogue, the negative dialogue all the time. And it is characterized by being stuck, being bored, and the needy, or the neediness of safety. Like all the time, Ogamba, if I go out there, nebitakola. You don't want to get out of comfort. Exactly. Tebagala kuvuga, they're accident prone. And by the way, it's even there in psychology. There are people who just don't like driving. I have got some of them. Oli Nangamba, my husband bought me a Range Rover. It is in, but he told me he will never drive me again because he wants me to drive. But she says she gets panic attack every time she goes on the steering wheel. And so she came for coaching to be able to gain confidence in order to drive. While other people are praying that Mukama, neweba ya mipire ebiri, neweba ya mipire ebiri. Hey, other people are fighting with anxiety to drive. Okay, so I want you to look at these two brains and I want you to decide, because let me tell you, under the sun there is nothing new. And even if you were the kind who was stuck, bored, and need a lot of safety, and you just don't venture out, and you know it, you know, me, I'm an introvert, you know, I keep to myself, I don't talk a lot to people. And you know to be a numirizam. But ngochimanyi tebina je bikutwala. So wechiba techina je chikutwala, lwaki ochiremerako. Why do you stick to it if it's not helping? Okay? So that means you can decide and create your own. I happen to have a son that that has delayed speech. Okay? So we are currently in therapy. Apparently, some of you don't know that some parents go through sleepless nights because their kids can't speak on time. How many of you are surprised? I can see most of you are mothers. So they tell us in speech therapy, you have to create excitement while you're talking to him so that he can learn to speak that particular word. So if it's like a cup, you have to let him know how whatever he's drinking is yummy, how it's, you have to exaggerate it, so that when you say cup, he's willing to say cup. Because he is not going to hit that milestone on his own. He needs your help. Now, the owl brains need your help. They will never jumpstart themselves. And guess what? You will never grow in your comfort zone. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. Everything dies in the comfort zone. So what you have to do is to create the excitement for yourself. And by creating excitement is when you come to this place and see others growing and you're like, you know what, even if I have to jump on that bandwagon, let me jump on it. If I have to jump on that Fresh Diary challenge, let me tell you, the people that did this challenge last week, the Fresh Diary challenge, are all introverts and all like, I don't want anyone to see me, but I am going to post my video on social media and I am going to tag Coach Bahati and then I'm going to tag Fresh Diary. Someone in the corner wants the corner to swallow her. She wants the corner to swallow her so badly, but it's not going to swallow. And guess what? She's an entrepreneur, and she's a photographer. What, right? Am I saying the right things? And she's single and searching. No, we don't fear saying certain things in this space, right? If you're single, you might as well be searched. Hey, you might as well tell people, hey, look here, guys. And you get partners. That's why I'm saying hitting your goals is when you do something out of the ordinary. Your brain is telling you, put on your PJs, get your snacks, and sit and get a remote and get comfortable. The wow brain says, my friend, chikubirawa. Wanji? Chikolachi? Chukubirawa, ku hold my hand. If you can't hold yourself accountable, call someone, tell them, do not leave me. Right, Wanji? That is why we say get an accountability partner. It doesn't have to be a coach or a mentor. It can be your fellow roomie that you're seated close to. Every time you're coming to these sessions, please remind me. Because I have a tendency of forgetting things that are helpful. And the people with the owl brain, they forget things that are helpful, and then they remember things that are not helpful. They know when to sleep. They know when to walk out of meetings. And this is what my husband usually says, for girls that are timid and they are single and searching, that they get out of church like a fuso that has a broken center, what? Center bolt. Like the legs are going this side. And because my friend, she does not want to bump into anyone called a brother who can say hi, you know, and you're beautiful. But that's self-sabotaging, right? Because even when our feet don't want to go to the right place, you have to force them to go to the right place. You make that decision. It's intentional. It's deliberate. You will never grow for as long as you want to grow automatically. Growth is not automatic. No. Growth is not. You choose to grow. And I don't want to take long, but still, while I was doing that same research, I wanted to find out the 3 topmost hindrances to our success. Because there are no more things. Number 1 is the love of comfort. The love of comfort. If you are taking, and this is actually the last one, if you're taking the path of the least resistance, you're not growing. Okay? How many of us are used to routine? Routine. You come from home, you go to work, you even have different paths. Let me tell you, you can even walk with your eyes closed and go to those places. No, like seriously. Sometimes I drive and I ask myself, how did I get home? Especially when there is no traffic. Like you're just not minding. They can even tell you they put up a new billboard and you'll say, where did they put it? Because like you were not minded. And sometimes I'm like, this is being too careless. There is no way I can drive from work and get home minus knowing how I actually went. Someone will tell me there was an accident in such and such a place. And I'm like, I just went. Why? It is routine for me. Now, if you want to break out of routine, you make sure you do something different. For example, I will take a different path. Okay? When you take a different path, you're being adventurous. Because next time there is traffic jam, then you'll have an alternative path. Okay? But if you're used to one path, there's a time I drove and I found a certain truck had, you know, failed it was crossing the way and then it couldn't move. And so I was like, okay, so what next? And and I didn't know the alternative rules. Until then, I was like, after then, I was like, you know what? I need to be able to be the sharp Kampala girl that knows different roads and this has to be intentional, not to just go through the same routes, okay? Don't dwell with the same people. Guy, you have been in the same vicinity with the same, how many ladies are searching here? How many? I see very beautiful ladies, and then they are smiling, they are telling me we are searching, but we are not willing to put up our hands. And guess what? You have the same friends from January to the same ones that we got. Look at his nose. Look at ojerega buli chimu. Baino lugezigezi baina akajanja balina chi nayo besibyeko. We bagenda ku lunch gwe wuyo. Bwe bagenda ko mu club gwagoberera. Bwe bagenda ko mu church, apparently bangambye people come from clubs and go to church. Wanji? And then they will be the most spiritual people on earth. They will be the most spiritual people on earth. They told me even worship leaders do that. Yay! Here we speak that truth. Okay? So love of comfort zone. Ask yourself, what is my comfort zone? And just tweak something. Be adventurous. Change something. Okay? And see how life will go. And then the learned helplessness. The learned helplessness. Things that have been passed on from other people, other generations. And so you think, or you know, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I have so many people that come to me with that. I can't do that. I can't do it. And I'm like, did you try? No, I just know I can't do it. And then I'm like, is it that you can't or that you won't? Because those are two different things. Because a person that has willingness in them is a person who says, let me try and see. If it fails, then I will rule it out and say. But a person who is adventurous, who has the wow brain, is one who will do something and then it fails, they will go back and research, or they will go back and engage another gear. They come back and do it again, and then it fails, and they will do it multiple times. We would never have the innovations that we have in the world right now if people were just giving up at the first trial. Okay? So if you try something, try again. Some of you, how many of you say, I can't do sales? Be honest. Hands up. Some of you are lying. I can see you. I can't do sales. That's what I used to tell myself. Hey. Until I decided and made a New Year resolution. I was like, how much money do I want to make? I wrote it down. I was like, so where is this money going to come from? Let me tell you, there is nothing. There is crazy money in sales. And there is nothing you will ever do without selling. You're selling yourself by coming here. When you put on well, mama, wandi bado yambala kutia no tambula. Lwachi to yambala kutia. Wanji? Why are you pulling a ponytail properly and with a lipstick? You're selling yourself. So you're a salesperson. Okay? You pause when you see a man you're crushing on. What do you do? You strategically position yourself, right? Even the way you walk changes. How you hold your hands change. Even your eyes, eh? Some of you will want to have romantic eyes all of a sudden. Like they were not romantic, but all of a sudden they have to turn. And they have to have romance. And then you'll find someone. Hey. You're selling yourself. Wanji? So you might as well sell other things. Remember, I told you that you respond to people's problems, give them solutions, and you will have all the money in the world. Okay? If I have a problem and you want to solve it, my friend, I will be at your feet. I'll be like, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? So create that in your life. Don't base on learned experiences. If your friend can't do something, that is not a leeway for you to say, I can't do it. The other person is a different person. You're a different person. And then you're like, Auntie Kakati, my friend can't date a short man, so I can't also date a short man. Wanji? You've seen such people. And then people will come up with topics. Can you date your ex? Your what? Your ex is what? And what is your answer? Mbuno, you have girl codes, eh? Sorry? Oh, the third hindrance? Taking the path of least resistance. As in, let me tell you, look for the easy things, do them, and you will be the last in the world. You will never make any headway. If you want to do the easy things, because they're easy, then you're not learning. You're not putting your mind to task. Okay? But if you take a path that is filled with resistance, just like Coach Christian says, when they block a way, you will find a way. When they block a fence or they close the door, you will find a way of jumping over the fence. If you can't find a way of jumping over the fence, you will go around it. Why? Because you're just not waiting to take the path of least resistance. That's why we say, you can't, when you get into marriage, we tell you, my friend, okay? So, you do everything that it takes to make it work. There are only certain situations that we say that, you know what, that is beyond humanity. If someone didn't create you, they don't have the right to beat you. Wanji? They are not your parent, they are not your creator. They cannot replace your eye. So in such a circumstance, we are not saying you can't die in marriage. But if you need to communicate better, you can learn. Don't say, me, I don't know how to communicate. Me, I know how to call, but I can't text. What is that? Ndimu sidi sebo wali okwana wakwana utia. Kale wandigenzo no mumagongo gugade. Netula bawe tutegera. Wanji? You can't call me at certain hours because I'm in a meeting. I'm in a meeting the whole day. Let me tell you, no one can be in a meeting the whole day. And if someone respects you, even in the meeting, they will send. That is why these phones have templates of messages that say, I'm going to call you back in an hour. You can even edit it and put your own, that I'm in a meeting, I will call you shortly. Or I've delayed, but things like that. But someone ghosts you for 3 weeks and then comes back as a living dead. Like they have resurrected, that zombie in them has resurrected. And then they come. And let me tell you, that's over, eh? They will first send you a hi to see whether you respond. And then all of a sudden, they excited you, adrenaline. Oh my God, he has figured out that he missed me in his life. He's back. Hey. No, he has gone back to his comfort zone. Wanji? So we entertain. So the path of least resistance. Do you know why people stay in places where they're not supposed to stay? The path of least resistance. Because they're like, you know what? I don't want to rock this boat. I don't want to change, to reinvent the wheel. Okay? If my four grandmothers stayed the same thing and it was all about this, then I might as well just fall in place and do what I have to do. And guess what? If you're the stubborn one who wants reasons for things, but not the reasons, there is a friend of mine who told me that their toddler or their child that has started going to school, when they tell them to recite the alphabets, this is what they ask the teacher, but how do they benefit me? Yeah. I was like, but parents, what are we doing? But why do they benefit me? When they tell them to eat lunch and then have lunch together with the friends, they're like, but I want to have it alone. How do I benefit by having it with everyone else? So I told that mother, that child got that from somewhere. Now, there are people who are just extremists. You know them. They're just too extreme. Extremes, not too good, right? If you find someone who is a workaholic, we want you to be hardworking, but again, we don't want you to sleep at office. We want you to love, but again, we don't want you to lose yourself while you're loving. Yes? So you might as well put some limits for yourself and say that, you know what? The limits that are really constructive. And say, the path of least resistance, no, I'm not going to do that. And if it means you editing the people that you hang out with, because there are certain cliques of people that love easy things. You know, they called me, we're going this side. There's club, and then there's after this, we have to eat. There's party, there's another, and this end of year, my friend. If you're not careful, your investment is going to get lost in baby showers and bridal showers. Wanji? Because there are many, and wedding launches. So, 3 things, okay? The comfort zone, love of the comfort zone. These things sound like cliche, but the moment you realign your life and think twice why you've been doing certain things, you will see that it's because of comfort, it's because of learned helplessness. Your mother didn't do it, so you can't do it. Your friend didn't do it, so you can't do it. Your husband can't do it, so you can't do it, okay? Your wife can't do it, or your best friends. And let me tell you, I think that's something I read somewhere, that if you, in the clique of friends, you are the wealthiest or the richest, okay? You need to be able to create another clique of people that you look up to so that you can help these people that you're with, okay? But you will never grow in such an environment because then you feel you've arrived.